Jeff, let's start off. Welcome. Thank you again for taking the opportunity to talk with us. Tell us a little bit about Jeff Bullock. Who is Jeff Bullock?
Well, I would say Jeff Bullock is a curious person. So I have a lot of interest, a lot of interest. But right now, so I'm a founder and CEO for PRISM AI Consultants. So that is why I'm here today and what we'll be talking about mostly. However, I have a lot of stuff before that too. So I guess I will get into that. Um it's I was born in Philly and then moved around a bit. I was in moved to Columbus, Ohio when I was in elementary school, and then at fifth grade, parents moved to Columbus, Ohio. So that's where I graduated high school, Columbus, Ohio. And then I moved to New Orleans to get my pharmacy degree. So it's actually Dr. Jeff Bullock because I have a doctorate in pharmacy. And I got that from Xavier University of Louisiana in 2008. I graduated. And then from there, I moved to Dallas, Texas with my girlfriend, now wife. She's a pharmacist as well. And I was in Dallas for 13 years. So I was in Dallas, the DFW area, moved around a little bit there, but the DFW area for 13 years. And I was with CVS for a total 18 years. So I was started as a clerk, and then I was a intern. Well, I was a clerk, and then a tech, and then an intern,
Mhm.
and pharmacy manager, pharmacy supervisor, district manager, rose the ranks. I did some corporate training, conversion training of, because CVS is big in acquisitions. So we would acquire
Yeah.
different pharmacies. I would train the people as well. Other jobs too. I love leadership. I love science, and I love coaching. So CVS allowed me to do that in various capacities. However, in 2020, COVID happened, right? So we moved to Allentown, Pennsylvania. So that's when I left Dallas. We have a little girl. She was 6 at the time. Now she's 10, and I wanted her to grow up around all of her people as opposed to moving around like I did. Because Katora, she grew up in Allentown, so all of
Okay.
her all her family is here. So I was like, that'd be nice for grandma, grandpa, uncles, and cousins, and everybody in one place. So that's why we came back here. I transferred with CVS, but then in 2021, I left the company and I became a full-time entrepreneur. I had developed the first business was a real estate business. So in 2018, I started up a real estate business in Dallas while I was still working at CVS. And by 21, I had 11 units. But it was not easy to get there. Not easy. I like to put that out. People just skip over all the hard parts and be very clear about that. It's not easy. A lot of mistakes made, a lot of heartache. However, it did allow me, I was able to cash out a lot of those properties and then allow me to leave CVS. And then I bought some trucks. So I bought two 18 wheelers, and then and I started a trucking company and then a dispatch company. And that didn't quite work out. The trucks did not the trucks didn't quite work out like I wanted it to. But I learned a lot of lessons and met a lot of interesting people, um, and learned a lot about business. And then I started consulting for small mom and pop pharmacies as well as
Okay.
transportation industry. And then ChatGPT came out. And that's November 22. So ChatGPT comes out and it's helpful. It's helpful with emails, it's helpful with generating content. As I'm consulting, it's like making the job faster. But then in March is when it got upgraded to the paid version. And that is what I say. Aliens landed. Uh, but unfortunately, most people did not know about it. They didn't upgrade because why would you? Everything that they needed to do, they was doing for the free version. But the pay version can do so much. And the way I like to tell people is it's like a knowledge worker, like a reasoning agent. Um,
Mhm.
and at CVS, what I did. I did a lot of pilot programs and you know come up with strategies to achieve outcomes. And ChatGPT was able to do things that took me days and weeks. It was able to do in seconds. And I was like, oh my God,
Okay.
this is different. So I started just learning about it and reading and taking courses and studying. And then in June of that year, I they put ChatGPT on the internet, and once that happened is when I started Prism. So that's how Prism came to be, and since then, um, we've been able to train hundreds of people on how to use these tools for practical use case, because that's what we do at Prism. We train people on how to use existing AI tools such as ChatGPT and image generators and video generators and so on
Okay.
for practical use case, understanding the strategies behind it. Why would you use it? How would you use it? Um, and It's been a lot of fun. We've helped lots of organizations. We've helped United Nations with their AI policy. We've helped the small mom and pops and corporations and all walks of life. So it's been a good ride. So that is
Very,
who Jeff Bullock is.
that is very impressive, very impressive. And you are a serial entrepreneur from what I see. And as any, I think I was looking at a quote about how you look at business or chances or and sports. You miss every shot that you don't take.
Right,
But
Wayne Gretzky. We miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
exactly, it looks like, I mean, you take those shots. If it doesn't
Mhm.
work out, you know
Yep,
that you'll be it's refined, just like the GPTs, right? The Chat GPT or the AI, you train them, you
that's
train
right.
them better.
You learn from it, and you move, you pivot, you figure it out.
That- That's right. Well, first of all, I want to say that I met Jeff through our organization that we are members in common, BNI, and we talk about lifelong learning, and you can see that with the entrepreneurs, that's what one of the things that we have to take on is lifelong learning. We have to learn from our mistakes, get better at it, but this of learning how to make your business more efficient, this is an opportunity here. But let's dig deep a little bit into Jeff Bullock and the every history that you told us what you did. You went from handling prescriptions to handling algorithms. Uh,
Right.
what was harder, deciphering a doctor's handwriting or training AI?
Right. So I will say that it's different challenges for each thing, right? So with the in the pharmacy piece, you think about your pharmacist, right? It's over especially over that time. Um, you're in a small space with a few other people that you're working with. There are no windows or anything. Well, in an outpatient pharmacy, CVS, Walgreens, retail setting like that. So everybody sees you, everything that you're doing, and they don't quite understand what's going on, but they do know that I need my prescription and I want to go. So that's like the environment. So you have to, make sure that you are providing the highest level of service while providing the highest level of healthcare, provided education, and just healthcare in general for people. So it's high stakes, high stress. I
Mhm.
worked a lot of like when I was on they call it on the bench when you're working in a store. So when I was
Okay.
in I was usually in a higher volume store, so just a lot of people. So it's like a mix of short order cook and doctor or physician. Like it's fast paced. So it's a lot of challenges involved in that. How really, really rewarding because we have direct access to the patients, right? So a lot of times,
Mhm.
because of those walls that other healthcare professionals have, that the patient can't directly walk up and ask a question about their healthcare, and you can't make that direct impact. Where it's harder to make that direct impact. And that was something that was really, really rewarding for me. And being a pharmacist, and one of the reasons why I wanted to do it, make that impact on the community. Now, on the flip side, with the AI piece, the challenge is fear, right? So that's the challenge that we have right now. Which I want to say very clear, like it's not like it's unwarranted. Like
Mhm.
the fear that people have, I 100% understand because these tools are miraculous, but also scary. It's a double-edged sword and it cuts both ways. So we can do things that we could never do before in a good way, but also we can do things we never could do in a bad way. So our mission at Prism is to democratize. One of the missions is to democratize AI for all. This technology
Okay.
is truly transformational. However, if you do not, if your mind is closed off to the possibilities, then you'll get left behind. And we don't want anybody left behind. So those are some of that's like a challenge, but also what I love about it is when we've been able to see people, especially entrepreneurs who are like just
Mhm.
starting out, be able to like skyrocket when they're able to use these tools and know like how to use it. Resources are like when you're first starting out. I mean, everybody want to conserve resources, but when you're first starting out, it's different. Like
Oh yeah.
you have no reason, you have lack of time because you don't know a lot, so you got to learn. Money, usually by yourself, so so there's no one to delegate stuff to. So it's all those things that you got to deal with when you're starting out. But now you have a team of experts. That's what I tell people that
Mhm.
ChatGPT, these large language models are. It's like a team of experts. Every one of the experts has an IQ of 150, and they all graduated from college in every subject. So I say, if you had that around you at all times, what would you ask them? And then the answer is everything or most things. Now, you might not do it all, but you sure would ask. And when people are able to see that and move, that's rewarding. So challenges in both ways, but also rewarding in both ways. So I love the fact that I get to make that shift and I get to usher people into this new age.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And you're right. Resources are the toughest thing to have, and the way that you're really bringing this out to entrepreneurs, that they have the experts in all areas, and if they can understand that and use it, that's great. I love the way you mentioned that you founded Prism AI to democratize AI.
Yep.
So what's the most unexpected industry that you've helped conquer AI besides pharmacy? What else? What else? Who else have
Yeah.
you or
So
who have you
that's
helped?
that's a great question. So that's another great part of like this job. It's like I said, I started with I'm a very curious person, right? So I have a lot of different interests, and I love how this particular type of technology really does transcend like all anything that touches a computer. AI can help you. So also the humanities, from an academic standpoint, AI can help because team of experts, all graduate college every subject, right? So whatever your subject is, you can get some help in that. And if
Correct.
the other big piece is the adjacent area. So if you're strong in one thing, great, you're the expert in that. But what about the adjacent areas to that particular topic? Now you got the team for that. All right. So to answer your question specifically, like the industries that are most are fun or exciting or entertaining. One is real estate. So I told you before I started the real estate company in 2018. So that's like a big one that gravitated to me. I'm interested in that. I'm definitely always interested in how to build wealth, and using the AI tools and helping people build wealth, from a real estate standpoint. Um, and those experts using that expertise, being able to get market analysis, and I have real estate broker clients, real estate and investor clients, real estate agents, real estate developers, all aspects of real estate. So that's a fun one. Another fun one is inventors. So inventors are really, really fun. I have one client. He's a leading dermatologist in the world, gives speeches all over, and he is working on a new invention dealing with the keloids. And he was able to really go back and forth with the AI, to kind of push his research forward. Now, when I'm coaching here, because I'm not an expert in that, and it's like they're talking a different language, but that's more like I'm a facilitator. So I was able to help them with the prompting, the prompt engineering. Prompting is when you, for those who don't know, is when you're asking the large language model or ChatGPT the questions. That's called prompting. So the name of the game is it's about how you ask the question. So that's one of the things that the strategies we teach is Prism is how to prompt correctly. And we do it real time. So as you're working with whatever your specific goal is, I'm helping facilitate. So that's the one that's been really fun. Different types of inventors, not just that. That was just an example with the dermatologist, but pretty much we there's many areas of research that people are pushing
Mhm.
the boundaries on. So those are just a couple. I mean, I can go all day because I like
Yeah,
every
don't.
interesting, but I just want to give you just a couple of interesting ones that I feel like professions.
No, it's. I mean, it's definitely and as you analyze it, as you talk to your clients, you're understanding that the most difficult part sometimes is putting in words their goals or their challenges that they
Yep.
have.
Yep.
Uh, yeah, typically it's they're used to saying one word for this is my problem. What is it? Lack of or a phrase, lack of customers.
Uh-huh.
Okay, but how do you want to solve it? What's the solution? So
How do you want to solve it?
prompting, right? It's a at this point you're having a conversation with the AI and
Yep.
getting that answer. So
Yep.
very good. So let's see. You transition from the tech into the tech world, and your pharmacist skills helped in dealing with tech glitches. Do you have any magical for those too, for those tech glitches? What are the when you have tech glitches, what happens? What do you have for that? What are the solutions for that?
Yeah, so it depends on what the tech glitch is, right? So we all have like, if Zoom doesn't work, that's going to be a tech glitch for me. 95% of my business is virtual. So we train people all over
uh,
the world. So if we have an issue with our for that platform, that's something is a problem. However, for like other things, I would say troubleshooting, that's actually a strong use case for ChatGPT. It's one of the top
mhm,
10 is troubleshooting. People don't know, but once again, think of it like team of experts, graduated college every subject. So um, they also know like it's really small stuff. So, hey, how do I turn on my dictation on my computer so that I can talk to ChatGPT like a real conversation? If you don't know how to do that, you can just ask. Or how do my iPhone? I saw my friend doing this thing with my iPhone and just ask, right? So
mhm,
a lot of tech issues can be solved now directly by just asking the AI. Now, I will say something that is this kind of relevant here. Hallucinations, right? So a hallucination is when the large language model, like ChatGPT, but there's other ones too, just for the audience. There's, Google has one called Gemini. There's one called Claude. Facebook has one called Meta AI. Um, Twitter/X has one called Grok. Lots of people have them. So we're just going to use ChatGPT for language purposes today. So, but just
okay.
know that all the strategies are across the board with like any of those large language models. Okay. But hallucination. So a hallucination is when it gets it wrong, right? And we can't afford that, right? Like, well, hold up. This you said that there was experts in all things, right? So how's it getting wrong? Well, sometimes experts get it wrong too. So FYI, like humans get it wrong sometimes. So that's
Yep.
just remember that. However, there are things that you can do to significantly decrease the amount of like the frequency of hallucination. And this is a good place for me to give like how you actually use a large language model. So I gave y'all one lesson, which was how to think about it. Team of experts. You'll
Mhm.
hear me say that throughout. And now second is like how you use it. So if you use it in this way, I'm gonna give you 5 steps. Then you are likely to not have it hallucinate because you've set it up correctly. So is that okay
Okay.
for me to give 5 steps right now, bro?
Yeah,
Cool.
definitely.
Step one, name your team, right? So you got a team of experts, but you got to say who they are. So let's say, for instance, you need to get leads for your digital marketing agency.
Mhm,
So you would need experts in sales and marketing and business and digital advertising and corporate culture or whatever you can think of. The big thing though is more than one. Okay. The second step on how to use it is introduce yourself. So when introducing yourself, I mean that you bring something to the table. Everybody has experiences. So you want to make sure that it knows that. Your team of experts graduated from college in every subject. You were not one of those subjects. So you gotta let it know like who you are. But your team can go online and get information. So let's say you have a website. You can put your website in there and say, hey, go on my website and find out the information. Or your LinkedIn profile. You can grab your whole profile, throw it in there. Here's that. What if you're not the subject? Maybe you're prospecting a specific client. You're targeting somebody who you want to make sure you get your attention. You want somebody on that. You put information, right? Or you put their website in, right? So now it has that information. Context is the thing that matters. All of this is in that first prompt. We have not pushed enter yet. Okay. Step three. What is the issue? What are we solving for? Right. So what are we trying to solve for here? So you want to put that in there as well. And the thing that I will say to call out here
mhm.
is the whys. So, like, what is the why behind it? And be
Okay.
careful not to constrain the model. And that means don't lead it, right? So, if you got a real experts, don't tell them how to do their job. Just tell them what the job is and why, but don't tell them how. Because if you tell them how, then they have to do it that way. And there may be 20 different ways to do it. That's better. But you said do it this way. So it has to do it that way. Okay. So be careful with that. You might not even know you're doing it, but a lot of times my clients are doing it. So you're probably doing it and not thinking about it. Step four, what's the goal? The big goal. right? So what are we trying to solve here? A lot of times people with very small goals. Give me an email, give me hashtag, give me a book, give me a blog post. Okay, those are cool things, but what you really want, how do I make 7 figures in the next 24 months? Or how do I convert the, how do I convert clients? Or how do I, whatever your goal is, it doesn't have to be about money. It could be a personal goal, right? How do I gain 10 pounds of muscle in the next 6 months? How do I, so a good thing with the goal is this by then. How do I do this by then? Or you could do a SMART goal. SMART goals are specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. So you can do a SMART goal. But if you're like, hey, I don't know what that is, I never heard of it before, don't worry about it. This by then. Okay. Last but not least, the command. So you got to tell it what you want. Give me a strategy. Give me a plan. If we're doing a big prompt like this, because once again, all of these 5 steps are within the same prompt. We haven't pushed enter yet. So if you're doing a prompt like this, usually it's going to be give me a strategy or give me a plan first or give me an outline of how to do it first. And then you can kind of go deeper into it after that. But you may say, hey, I want a table or I want a chart or I want a, bullet points or I want a song or I want whatever thing you want, give it the command. So those are 5 steps on how to actually use this stuff. You can put up to, in ChatGPT, you can put up to 175,000 words in one prompt. So
Wow.
yes, so it's not just set for a sentence, okay? It's set for more. But if you didn't know that, then how would you do that, right? So hopefully that expands some people's minds. So well, hold up, how am I supposed to use this thing? This is how I use this thing.
Very good. Now you mentioned you have a bunch of experts and you want to tell them what to do and why to do it, but not how to do it.
Correct.
Can you give us some examples of where people, or maybe myself without looking, where we tell them how to tell the AI or the
Yeah.
chat, the language model how to do it?
Yep.
Where,
So
where are we failing? Give us some examples of that so that
yeah,
we
for
can
sure.
be open to that and know not to do
Yep.
that.
Yep. So this is what typically happens. What typically happens is you've been working on a problem for a while. It could be months, it could be years. But you're like, all right, Dr. Jeff said to team of experts. So I've been working on this thing for a long time. They would make my whole year if I could get this problem solved. Because you've been working on that problem for so long, you have tunnel vision on how to get that problem solved now. So you're like, this is what you need to do, and this is how we're going to do it because I've done all this research and I know that this is the way. Well, how the large language models work, they're pre-trained on trillions of parameters of data. So let's just say the entire internet. So it's not going online and searching every time. It's already trained with the entire internet. So safe to say, you don't know the entire internet. You're not trained on the entire internet. You don't have that in your mind. So by telling it to do this one thing in this way, you constrain it. But when you just let it be, let it flow, and you give it the whys and the whats, and not the hows, then now it opens up to all the different possibilities of how. And your how may be in that list, but it may not be in that list. But wouldn't you want to at least see it? So that is like a common reason on like how that happens. You've just been working on it for so long. It's not on purpose. You've just been doing it for so long. You thought this was the way. Now, I will say there are some situations where you do need something done a specific way. And if that's the case, put the how in there. But that's not usually the case. Usually the thing that you want is an outcome and you don't care how it happens, as long as it's ethical, of course.
Yeah, correct.
But you don't usually care how it happens. You want the most efficient way to get something done, and that might not be the way that you've used before. So that's like a common reason of like how that like why it looks. So to give it like another example, we'll use like real estate. So we'll say, okay, I got a real estate agent who's been an agent for like 5 years and they want to get leads. So then they say, okay, I need to get leads. I know I got to get leads through LinkedIn. So tell me how to get, 6 leads in the next 30 days using LinkedIn. Okay, it will. But what if you just say, give me 6 leads in the next 30 days? The best, most efficient ways possible, it's going to get you way more things to get there that may be faster than LinkedIn. So, but you might get the 6 from LinkedIn, but you might get 30 without. So you see what I'm saying? So that's like an example of like how that works.
Very good. Yeah. I think, and one piece that I've learned myself a little bit is having a little cheat sheet of different words that we typically don't use, just to make sure that we're not using the how, but the tone or the mentality of make it the most effective, do it this way, so avoiding the how. You've worked with a lot of business owners, and you yourself been an entrepreneur, been going through, you great successes that you've had, and challenges as well to get to the next level. What's one piece of advice or AI advice that you'd give to small business owners who are totally convinced that their competition is it will be like secretly run by robots, but that it's really more robotic than the person running it?
That again,
So,
you said what's the advice
so
for
what's one piece of advice that you would give entrepreneurs that think that their competition is robots, that they're thinking
like
that
AI gonna take
every
their job?
yeah. So
Okay.
what's one
Yeah.
piece of advice for them?
So for the people who say like, AI is going to take my job and are worried to learn it because of that fear. Is that kind of direction?
Yeah.
So the first thing that I would say is I understand the concern and the fear associated with it. Um, Based off of I've been in this space for a little bit now, and the initial that's going to happen is it's not AI that's going to take the job. It's the person that know how to use it. So the person who knows how to use AI is what I will be concerned about right now, not so much the AI itself. Now, further in the future, the jobs will change, right? Because with technology, there's a change in job, a shift in job. There was no social media manager 15 years ago, I believe, right? Like
Nope.
that job was that job did not exist. But now it's very prevalent. Not only is it very prevalent, but when you ask the generation, children to adolescents what they want to be, that is increasingly what they want to be. Is they want to be something from a social media standpoint, something from an influencer standpoint. That was not a thing before as much, right? So as this technology shifts, there will be new jobs that come along with it. Prompt engineer is something that came up, but that also will change over time as it gets better, and you won't need to prompt as you won't need to know as many things with prompting. You'll need to still know basics and strategies, but I will just say in just over the past year, uh, it's been easier to prompt and get better results with uh, less words. You don't
Okay.
have to be as technical as you used to have to be. Um, uh, so so that's the first thing that I would say is like the person who knows how to use AI is more likely to be a threat than the AI itself. Um, and then also I think it does depend on what the job is. So like the jobs that are I gotta say more at risk. That we had no idea it was coming was knowledge worker jobs. So executives, people who like in my positions who were field managers or the CEO, CFO, not so much CEOs but the just higher level executives where the role is to come up with strategies and to oversee experts. Well, if for instance, the engineers who are the technically sound people, the ones that are good at XYZ, they may not have the leadership skills, but they are good at the actual job. Well, if they have and they know how to use AI, well, then they're able to move faster with their initiatives and the things that they lacked that they were getting from the executives. Well, they're
Exactly.
able to all get it because every single person, and this is the important piece too, every single person has their own personalized tutor, their own personalized leader. Everybody has that. Children will have that. So education will look different. And every employee will have that. So the workforce will look different as far as what that looks like. So all that to say, learning it, having that education, then you can see where you can position yourself because there's going to be many knowledge workers who find themselves, the ones that are apprehensive to the change and think like, oh, okay, I've been in this position for so long and I can't be over time. That will shift to where people who know how to use it, who have less experience than them, but they know how to use AI, they'll be able to get better outcomes. And we all know from a corporation standpoint, at the end of the day, it's about the outcomes.
Yep. Oh. I agree, and definitely, I mean, what I take from that is adapt to change, get with it, learn. Don't be afraid to learn, so that
Be
there's an
afraid to learn. You
opportunity.
don't have to use it if you don't want to use it, but don't be afraid to learn, right? Because the world has changed. It's not changing, it's changed. Things are different.
Hmm.
Things you can do now, you could not do before. When you see it, you don't unsee it.
Yeah. So tell me, Jeff, how do people get a hold of you? Where can they connect with you so they can learn some of the stuff that you're teaching and really get some information from you?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So one more lesson. So there's three core lessons. So the first one was about the mindset, how to think about ChatGPT.
Hmm.
The second one was the 5 steps on how to use it. And the last
Okay.
one, talk to it, don't type. So I just want to make sure
Oh yeah.
every single, like, you want to make sure that you're talking to it. So what does that mean? That means that you could turn on, every one of your devices has a dictation capability.
Mhm.
You turn on that dictation capability. If you don't know how to do it, ask your team of experts, how do I turn on my dictation capability? And they'll tell you exactly how to do it. And then you just are able to speak to your computer, speak to your telephone, speak to your phone, to where the text will just show up. And then when doing that, it makes it effortless to interact with these models, and you get such better responses because they need text. They need that context. And you provide it easily when you're speaking as opposed to typing. Because when we type, we paraphrase. And some people who type fast are like, oh, I'd rather type than talk. Just trust me on this. Just try it. I promise you, just try it. Like, it will be better. It will be better for this one. Maybe don't do it for everything, but for using it, just try it. All right. So where you can reach me?
I
Uh, www.
wait before you go that one. I vouch for that. You know, anybody, if you're going to use it, learn how to turn on the dictation piece on your computer or on your phone, whatever you're using, because it does make it easier. You don't have to put you don't you when you start typing, you start thinking in sentences. You want to put the sentence and the period and the comma. You know what? Talk to it, and it's free form. That's basically it. It's free
Yep,
form. So,
yep.
and
Very
it
good.
does turn better results. So yeah, thanks a lot for that tip. That was to me, that's what I learned last week from you. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad you're using it because it just really it's small things that make a huge difference in adoption. All right, so where to reach me at? So you can go onto my website www.prism PRISM AI consultants.com. So consultants with an S is more than one of us. Prism AI consultants.com. And on there, you'll see everything that we have. So we have a free community on school.com. School is SKOOL. It's a great platform. The free community, you can log in there, sign up, and we have free courses. We have mastermind sessions that you can check out the replays. We have the post that you can see like use cases. Because one of the things which with the AI is people just don't know what to use it for. So you have like a list of use cases, a
Yes.
list of tips and tricks. Also, you'll be signed up for the newsletter. The newsletter goes out on Tuesdays. So on Tuesdays, it's Tuesday tips. So practical use cases like how to use this stuff for everyday life. And then on Fridays is like what's like the weekly recap of what's happening in the world of AI. And it is wild the things that and where we're every single week. It's like a breakthrough. So that's like how to kind of stay in the know. There's a paid community on school.com, and that's $97 a month. And in that community is workshops. So we're touching it, we're doing workshops on music.
Mhm.
Because in this talk, we just talked about like large language models like ChatGPT, but there's so much more to AI.
Oh yeah.
It's like I like to say it's like Power Rangers. The Red Ranger GPT, but there's a Blue Ranger, Yellow Ranger, there's a Red Ranger, there's a Black Ranger, it's all kinds of Rangers. So you have image generation. You can get any image now you want, like anything you can think of, you can get an image of now by just asking for free. Very good quality too. I know that you might have tried it a few months ago and the hands were wrong and the words were wrong. That's not the case anymore. Now that stuff is right and it looks good. We have music generators where you can get full on radio quality songs in 15 seconds. Bro, am I lying?
No, yeah, that is correct. I mean, I'm amazing on that side. I feel like I'm a composer. I've written a couple of songs with different type of music and lyrics. It's interesting, amazing.
It's amazing, right? So that's crazy. And it's for free. FREE again. You have digital cloning. So I have on my website, you'll see a video of me. That is not me. That is my digital clone. I have it at the bottom. It says digital clone of Jeff. But imagine, so now you can be in multiple places at once. You know, because it's busy out here in this world. Like so now you have that and so much more. So that's what we talk about. We do the workshops in the paid group, and then when you go on the website, you can see if you want to do one-on-one services, we have the prices there. Or if you want to do group training, we have that too. So thank you so much, bro. I appreciate you.
No, thanks a lot, Jeff. And I recommend, Jeff, if there's anybody out there for companies that want to train their employees as well, this is a great opportunity. Chambers of Commerce, if you're doing any meetings for your business entrepreneurs, reach out to Jeff and connect with him. He can probably do some webinars or classes with them. So connectivity is it. Thank you again, Jeff.
I'm gonna say one more thing, Rob. Which is one more thing, the language. So all languages. So all languages you're able to do everything that I said. English, no matter what your native language is, insert that native language, and you can do all those things without losing it. So with the music, with the images, with the chat GPT, all of it. So I know that Ro, you're part of BNI out of the Mexico City chapter. And so Spanish, but it's not just limited to that as well. So the language piece is huge because I live in Allentown, Pennsylvania. I think I said that in the beginning.
Yeah.
I live in Allentown, Pennsylvania now, where our demographic is 55% Hispanic. So being able to reach an audience, I do speak Spanish, but there are a lot of business owners around me who are Spanish and they don't speak English that well, and vice versa, but need each other's services, right? So that language barrier was an issue, but now being able to use these tools, the collaboration can be stronger, and we can all grow together stronger. So the language piece is big too.
No, definitely, and you mentioned it's experts in everything in all languages, so it's
all languages.
It's a world of its own. Again, thanks everybody for being with us. We're gonna finish off with some music here, and we'll talk later.